All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, one and all, welcome. Hope we're all doing well, guys. Final week of the live streams for 2025. Without further ado, guys, let's get the show on the road. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Hope you're all doing well today. Hope you've all had a good start to the week. Those who were in trades yesterday, personally, no trades for me. Wasn't on the charts really for a great deal. Was obviously on a members call a little late after the stream, but doing some education. But anyway, guys, you know the drill. If you could, please don't forget YouTube. Please smash that like button. As soon as you come in, smash that like button each time. Really help me out. TikTok, make sure to hit that little screen for me as well. Let's get the masses onto the stream. Free Forex education here on the Monday to Thursday for the most part. Look forward to seeing what we come up with moving forward here today. But without further ado, let's have a look first of all at the news, and let's see if there is anything scheduled in regards to our session here today. We do have some high impact news in shortly for the pound. Claimant count change just to be less than the previous, so that would be likely a good thing for the currency for the pound. So it's something to definitely keep an eye on for those trading the pound. Also high impact euro news, which will impact also the pound. The pound news will impact the euro, so on and so forth. So a big day for the pound, and more high impact news for PMI to come. But more importantly, for those trading gold, what you need to be very cognizant of is the fact that it is ADP, NFP, retail sales all rolled into one today. Right, it's just a massive day when it comes to news. Flash PMI, you know, what else is there not? What's it missing today? That is the question. But pretty much covering the board here today with the US news, so it would be a little bit dull prior to it, but nonetheless we are here, and if nothing else, we'll have a bit of a chat. And, you know, nothing wrong with a bit of banter, a bit of fun, a bit of education. So once again, guys, if you could, YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button. TikTok, hit that little screen. Any charts, any questions, anything you'd like me to take a look at, I will do so. So pop them into the chat. I'll do so once I've done the analysis on the gold. So let's begin, guys. And starting at that higher time frame, the weekly, and what we can see is the current candle did pull up to the high of the previous, but we have respected it. So if you guys remember what I said yesterday about the daily candle, which I'll go down to, or I'll actually pop down to it now. But anyway, still not tapped into that IC candle here on the weekly, close to it. Interesting to see how price reacts to it for those who might have pending buy limit orders. Onto the daily. So who can remember what I mentioned yesterday in the daily? How if we were to pop up and break the high, well, if we were to continue bearish and perhaps reject the resistance here again, there was no need for us to pop back up and break the high of that previous candle. Seeing we did approach it but failed to break above it, only to reject, closing back weak bearish. What these wicks suggest to me is perhaps we've grabbed some upside liquidity in order to make a little bit of a deeper pullback here. So the daily, we do have counter probabilities now to the downside, lower high, lower low. Off the back of the high time frame picture now, I'm likely more inclined to favor sell options. Doesn't mean I'm not considering any buy options, just based off counter probabilities on the daily. And also the rejection that weekly, we'd just be pulling back on a weekly. Remains to be seen, but based off the daily, really liking some potential for further downside here. The 4 hours suggest though that perhaps we could be ready to bounce, so we're getting a bit of a conflicting story here. We're just going to mark in this as the most recent support, which we've not quite tapped into, but once we go down to the 15, we'll do so shortly. We will see that we actually have tapped into basically the 4 hour level here on the 15-minute time frame. A potential zone we could bounce off. We're about to close in the 4 hour time frame here as well. So once again, this in opposite to the daily time frame suggests that we perhaps grab downside liquidity as opposed to the upside liquidity in order to maybe move up. So again, it's a bit of a conflicting story here. Structurally, we are bullish. So let's go down to the all important M15 time frame, and what I meant, as we can see by price tapping into the support, is we have tapped into the level just here. So I really could almost just drag that up to that point there. Just this, the lowest point of any bullish candle at that level. I would just use that. what we have done on the move to downside to that level of support, we have recently just formed, well, we have formed resistance. We have again tapped into that resistance. So far we are respecting it, rejecting it. So above that point, this current ceiling, we have some pretty clean traffic. Off the back of that, if we've begun to close above it, I do believe there could be options to take a buy. Once again, we're tapped into pretty strong support to the downside. So if we were to close above, then once again, it suggests we perhaps grab downside liquidity here on a 4-hour time frame in order to push back bullish. So what I really would prefer to see is, though, seeing it is coming to the open with new 4-hour, perhaps this candle reject, maybe we have another little bit of a minor pullback, and then price begin to pop above that resistance, close above it, begin to pull away from it, and that could at that point be the lowest point of the 4-hour candle, and we could be ready to continue to the upside. So that is something I definitely will be considering. Aside from that, now if we did pop back down yet again, so I'm talking about buy options for the time being, and we did form a little bit of structure from this level of support. Again, it's a pretty strong level of support. It's the 4-hour support. We are technically bullish on that time frame. Higher time frame picture is technically bullish. I, off the back of that, would still consider my buy options from lower down, guys. I'm definitely not opposed to buying it, irrespective of the strength of the current daily, the daily being bearish with counter probabilities bearish. As far as the sell side things, the sell side of the equation, guys, definitely at a level I would consider sells, but we need to see what's going on here. 5 minute looks a lot cleaner below this 420, 4284 sort of region. If we go back to the 15, we kind of need a catalyst. We're not going to get it in this current candle. By the looks of it, if we were, the catalyst I'd want to see is a bearish engulfing. That would be enough to suggest to me that we're likely going to continue bearish. But we will see how we do react to this level, and potentially we could look for opportunities to take a sell from it. I'm not going to take it if it closes like so. To me, it's just a very weak closure. It could be just a pause in order for price to continue bullish. So I feel what we need to do for the time being, guys, is wait to see how the new 4-hour candle opens. Wait to see if it creates lower wick first and then begins to form support to take a potential buy option, or look for the buys above the resistance, or if it creates the upper wick first, rejects, and we can look for a potential sell. Now, further options will obviously be from higher up. If we do pop back up towards the Asian session range, only to reject, I would also consider my options for a sell off the back of that, seeing price would still structure itself. Actually, no, it will confirm a flip bullish if we do close above this resistance. However, if we were to go back to the daily, actually the daily will also be flipping back bullish. So yeah, look, we'll have to see. We'll consider the sells perhaps, but everything will be flipping back bullish by that point. So this is focused on the current price action, guys, and just wait and see what happens in the next maybe 15 minutes or so. Yeah, that's my opinion of the gold, guys. Hopefully it made sense. Once again, make of that what you will, but make sure hit the like button. YouTube, smash that like button, and TikTok, make sure to hit that screen for me. Let's quickly take a look at GJ. So we do have the news coming out now, or in just under a minute, on the pound. So need to be obviously weary of the news approaching. I personally would be staying out of any pound trades for the time being. But let's quickly do the rundown. Weekly, big strong rejection. We are almost engulfing that previous weekly candle. Daily counter probabilities bearish. Do have a little bit of margin to the downside here. We're just pulling back to form resistance within the current daily to head back down. For our structure, the way I see it, still technically bullish, not quite tapped into the support here as well. So I do believe there's still potential for GJ to continue down at the minute. On to the 15, that is bearish. That's a bit of a mixed bag, but off the back of the strength of the current weekly and daily, I would preference sells again here today on GJ. Similar to gold, there is an entry point for the buys though. A buy above this on a closure above 207.10 will confirm a structure flip on the minor time frame. So if that was to eventuate, there could be a potential option. Obviously the news is just released or releasing, and it's popping straight up, so good news for the pound by the looks of it. But otherwise I'd just be seeing where we push up to and look for a potential rejection from maybe a sell from around that 207.30 sort of region. That's probably what I'd be looking at just now. Otherwise, continuation sells below the current daily low. Nah, probably not a great deal of margin. Anyway, that is GJ. Focus is on the gold. Just gonna mark in this 5-minute support. Not a great deal of margin below it. Move it. Yeah, anyway guys, just gonna trade the plan. Be patient. I know this week is going to be a bit tricky. I'm really not fussed about it, to be honest. So again, all about patience and discipline. In the meantime, Franco, go to you. Lau, yep, appreciate it. Tony Gold, Ray Rice to you, Peter J, and Oliver Grayson. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the loyal folk on YouTube. TikTok. I think I'm being shadow banned on TikTok. The numbers are really down, but welcome to 20 plus of you. Thank you to 7 new followers. NK. Sorry, Raj Kumar. Hello to you. Retul, g'day to you. Peace deals impacted whole market. Peace deals? What peace deals? I'm not aware of any peace deals. Just lost track of the chat. You're just trading in a short, so I just want to hear that going to be good. Well, at the minute, I think you're looking pretty good if it respects this current resistance. I'm sure you are at peace with your entry. Not, probably shouldn't be in the entry, to be honest. Licked. Hopefully it goes down. I think it means down. So someone's in a sell. Mets, that's what I'm trading right now. AI Geek, still holding my buy limit. Hit from 42.72. Nice one, man. Yems, good day to you. Welcome. It's TikTok chat. All caught up. All good day to you, mate. TikTok, I'm about to have a sip of the hot drink here. Want to mute up to you. Kenny K, good morning to you. Alright, so this is not bad on gold. Again, I didn't have a candle catalyst to enter a sell off the back of that closure. But what I could look for now is, for instance, I would love for this candle to close close to its low without completely melting, because then you have no margin. For education, guys. And then for something like this to happen on the next M15. So below that level of resistance, if price is to form a minor support like so, that provides me an entry point if the following candles create a bit of an upper wick and then begin to pop below minor support formed just below the resistance here. So again, it's just me looking ahead as to, you know, what I could potentially look out for, something I'm familiar with within price action for a potential entry. Fully aware that it could just shit the bed right now. I'm not going to be in a trade, but it's just is what it is. It's not my trade if that is to be the case. My team, let me share a link. Raj Kumar, so is in from 42.71. Should I wait until 43.48? Please advise me, please. Should have a plan, my friend. What is your, well, that's your plan. So you believe it's going there, if off the back of your analysis. You gotta trust yourself. If you're asking me, again, I'm scalping, so I'm not looking that far ahead. I'd be more concerned by the levels tapped into, and I'd be definitely well above break even. To be honest, I'd be trading my stop up in profit if it were me, because it is at some resistance. It is in a downtrend on the minor time frame here. But the daily counter probabilities being to the downside as well. We've had multiple rejections to the upside here. So I do still see some potential for it to come down further. But if it breaks above this resistance, then you could be all good. But even just above that level and below your target, there is some more resistance. So trail your stop, if nothing else, or be at break even. That's what I would say to you. MC Mitrovic, what time frame? 15. Predominantly at 15. Silver up to today. Still doing its thing, holding its ground. Proven prediction for gold NFP? No idea. I won't be on the charts for it, to be honest. And what I always say, the news, just be careful, because a lot of time it's going to trick people. Everyone thinks, well, what's it say here? Wasn't on that. So the forecast is for it to be less. So everyone's going to think off the back of that, so obviously, let's have a look here. So actual greater is good for the forecast. So just off the back of that, people are going to be looking for shorts. Just off the back of that measure, if it's supposed to be less than. So what I would often see happening in the past was, and I mentioned it, and it actually happened perfectly last week, because everyone's going to anticipate shorts, but it's a good chance what it might do is pump straight up, take out a lot of stop losses, grab upside liquidity, then dump, and then make the move. And a lot of people have been burnt already. But I don't predict, I don't trade news. I think it's reckless. I did it years and years ago in blue accounts, doing it, trying to catch big moves. So it's fraught with danger. But if you have a plan that you can back and it's solid, then I fully understand why you might trade the news. But for me, it's pure gambling. So I would suggest, if you are to trade it, maybe throw some funds into a side account that you are willing to gamble with, and just accept that you could hit a home run or you could get wiped out within a second. Literally, you won't even see your entry tagged in, but all of a sudden your money's gone, because the spread will tag you in and it'll hit your stop loss at the same time. So that's why I don't trade the news, because even if you have a stop loss, it could slip your stop loss. Alright, gold is trying to melt at the minute. Still don't even have any structure from this level, even on the 5 minute. It just needs to wait. Can you check for me currently way to Philippines? Goes up first, I went to sell immediately and sweep with downtrend. Check for you what, my friend? The news isn't like another 6 hours, over 6 hours. PJ, never trade news if you want to keep your funds. I agree. Exactly. Wait for you to come out first. Yep. Maybe give it 5 to 10 minutes. Think up what is the news that's meant to hit when in all honesty, guys, if you are to be serious about your trading, you need to know all this. Really simple. At the window, Forex factory, up in your tabs at the top, so you know when the news is scheduled, when it's to release. So the USD news is from today, so from my time it's after midnight, 12:30 a.m. You've got pretty much the whole kit and caboodle here. It's going to be a massive day. So along with NFP, you got to consider retail sales coming out, unemployment rate, PMI is coming out a little bit later, hourly earnings. It's huge. It's a massive day. They're all rolled into one today. Obviously being the end of the year, just before Christmas. I think it's the last time. Sure, it's the last time the Fed meeting. Or sorry, the last major data release. Might be some others, but in regards to NFP and that, I'm sure it will be the last for the year. Income website, there we go. See, the crypto is shitting the bed a bit at the minute. Gold, not gold, Bitcoin dropped back down to 85k. It's bounced a little bit, but still very strong bearish at the minute. Ethereum back below 3k. XRP below $2. For me, I'm interested in XRP, but still not at these levels. I want it back below $1, and I'm not going to give in until it gets there. Doesn't get there, doesn't get there. I'm not fast, missing out. I've got a great position, as I've mentioned for how long now, on silver, which I'm still adding to. So there's no need to chase another asset, in my opinion. So therefore, I'll let it come to me. Comes to me, fantastic. I'll start to layer in. If it doesn't, so be it. There'll be other options, other assets that will present and give you opportunities. Silver miners are a really good bet at the minute, to be honest. It's just weeding out the shit ones from the good ones. So that's the tough part. But there are obviously ETFs which you could choose instead, which will help. Obviously, it's just a basket of different companies. Income, all good. Neo, hello to you. We got a lovely short coming in for XAUUSD. You say so, potentially. For me to execute upon a short, I would now want to wait for the 30 minutes to close. Because within it, I want to see if the 15 can close a weak support. Neo, $1 for XRP for entry. For me, yes. Not trade, not with leverage. I'm talking about spot. I'm talking about accumulation. Peter J bought some silver from Bullion today. A nice one from Bullion now. Is that where you bought it from, or? Yeah, nice one, man. Good company, mate. Can't go wrong. I've never had any issues. Your real Adriel. So you have a bullish prediction for gold after news. I'm very bullish on gold. Irrespective of news. It may pull back because of news, but it will be short-lived. I do believe gold will continue well and truly bullish in the years to come. Trending wise though, could still come down against not really giving you much, but as long as you remain below its resistance, I would prefer sells. But my plan is, as I mentioned before, I'd want to see this candle closing weak bullish. If it does close weak bullish, I'm going to place a sell stop below it on the following candle. If it doesn't, it's just not my trade. Perhaps I can look for some 5-minute structure to form, which is not done so as yet. We just created pretty much a double top here. approaching some support. So the 5-minute structure would obviously need a bit of a pullback, closure below the support, so on and so forth. And that could be the only other option I can use to get involved in a trade. As long as the 15 is still closing bearish, so on and so forth, and obviously the 30 will be closing bearish. The preference would be for this candle to close weak bullish on the M15, provide that minor support, and then look for an entry as it breaks below it on the following candle. Yeah, real Adriel 5,000 for January. Yeah, look, I'm not sure about that, to be honest, but I mean, anything could happen. Anything could happen. Wouldn't rule it out, but yeah, wouldn't bet on it as well, to be honest. Peter J has been very helpful. Yeah, they're very easy to communicate with. Very busy though, so you get caught up and left on hold for a fair bit sometimes, but it's fair enough. Oh, it looks like it could be rejecting. How did that close? Even after the fact, it's still good to check things out, and still close too strong for me to take any impulse entry below this candle's low irrespective. So all good. Yeah, we just need to wait. It's gonna be that week, guys, in my personal opinion. I came to this week knowing there's likely not going to be many solid options. So seeing this is making it pretty much the move now. There's not going to be much margin to sell it. My preference now would be for it to form support and look for some buy options, preferably above the resistance, but remembering the 4 hours just open, so perhaps the 4 hours just creating a lower wick, grabbing some more downside liquidity in order to make the move back up. So if it was to form support, look, if it forms support a little bit lower down, potentially it could be some buy options. If it forms support at the current level, we're likely going to need to wait for it to actually pop above the resistance before we can look for a buy. YouTube guys, if you could, please, 2 seconds, if you could hit that like button. I want to try to get up to 50 today. I only got 24 at the minute, so it's more than 50 of you on the stream. You guys can help me out just quickly, it'd be much appreciated. You're real, Adriel. You've been doing this a while, I can tell. Yeah, well, my friend. More than eight years of trading. 4+ years. Yeah, about 4 years now of accumulating physical silver as well. And gold, but not as much gold. Training making tacos, always waiting for setups. Why not? Nice one, mate. Multitasking. Did become good at that at one point, but now I just make dinner, mate. I'm hungry. I've got to eat. The man's got to eat. Otherwise, I get grumpy. Conscious is awesome. Got in too early without patience into, I'm assuming, a buy. %64 margin now, just weighing like a limit. Yeah, you must be in a buy, mate. Always say bought on the first dip. This one here, so are you in profit? Or even here, you still be in a bit of profit. Yeah, look, I always say have the plan, have the rules, and just stick to it. Don't predict and jump in early because you think it's just going to go down, because that's when you get burnt. Yesterday, somewhere here perhaps, or here somewhere. I'm not sure, mate, to be honest. $4,300. So somewhere here from yesterday, I'm assuming. You need to have a stop loss, mate, to be honest. You shouldn't just be holding in hope. Because stop loss is, it's there for a reason. It's there, you know, to protect your account. It's also a level that you don't feel it's necessarily needed to go to if it was to go in your favor. So it's the level that you want to exit the trade with the loss and accept it. So at least you're owning it. So you know, you're not hiding, but you're aware of your mistakes. So next time you just need to make sure you've got all that sorted before you enter a trade, because at the minute kind of you're holding out in hope, mate. And I can't tell you whether or not it's going to go back to that level. I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. For me, as long as it remains below 42.90, 91.92, then I believe there's potential for further downside. If it begins to pop above that point, then you could be right, but there is no confirmation either way just yet. Looks more likely to reject. $42.80 for gold. Looking likely at the minute. Conscious is awesome. Have you any tips? I know I should have stop loss. I even wrote down my trading rules, but I keep breaking. Any tips? Well, you need to journal. You need to strictly journal. It's, yeah, it's tedious, it's boring, it takes time. But there's a few things it would do. It's gonna, first of all, it's gonna prevent you from jumping straight back in a trade, because it takes time to journal properly. Second of all, it's going to start to pick up on some familiar patterns within your trading. So what you need to do when you're journaling is also make mention of your emotions, like why you took a trade, how you're feeling during a trade. Did you exit or the trade or move your stop loss or anything like that based on your emotions? How did you react based on your emotions, things like that? Because then you're going to start to see how much of a, you know, a fool you may have been. To be honest, I'm not picking on you, but it's truth, because that's what I, you know, it's what I used to do, and I realized it was my own bullshit that stopped me being a decent trader. So that is definitely essential. But first and foremost, have some solid rules, have a proper trading plan, know exactly what you are to risk of a day, and don't go above or, you know, beyond that level. If your first trade, if you're saying to yourself you're going to risk 3% a day or 5%, and your first trade you've knocked that off, you've lost 5%, too bad, call it a day. Learn from your mistake. I know it's hard, it's habits, it's all about habit creating, but if you do something enough consistently for at least 3 weeks to a month, it's been proven, it starts to form some positive habits. So think about that. Try it out for like a month. Go down in your account size, your lot size, become consistent with executing upon your plan and your rules. It's probably the best advice I can give you. It may be beneficial to join a group setting, and I'm not saying it because I have a group setting. You might not even, you know, like the way I trade, but whatever you know, if you admire someone, you like the way they trade, you want to know more about it, consider, you know, finding out about how to get involved, because it could help you out to hold you accountable and give you some solid rules to follow. So gold at the minute we are rejecting. So again, it's not my plan. Was waiting for a little bit of minor support, so it's made the move, all good. didn't even have any 5-minute structure. It's just dropped from that resistance, so not fussed whatsoever. Still now likely going to be preferencing the buys just based on where we're at. Conscious is awesome. That's how I feel at the moment. I know better than to do things to my detriment. Thanks. Yeah, well, again, just hold yourself accountable for it, and you are, at least you are, because you're admitting to it. So that's the first step. Like bloody AA in here sometimes. It's true though, you need to admit to your flaws and errors. It's one of the only ways to improve. So Joseph, we are going down. Obviously. Discipline X key. Most people lack self-control. They have a plan and rules, but it doesn't matter when you break it instantly after an emotion. Yep. 100%. 100%, mate. It's kind of like that, you know, you're going that fighter pilot mode, I suppose. Totally different situation, but once you're on the charts, you could have the most solid plan that makes perfect sense, really solid rules, and then you see something dump or pump and you're thinking, oh shit, needs to get in, and you freak out and you just enter a trade and goes completely opposite. And then you realize after, it was the adrenaline of seeing the chart actually make a move and the thought of being able to profit from it, and you just got yourself absolutely wrecked. So again, I know, because I used to do that shit. I used to do it regularly, you know, 6-7 years ago. Was flipping accounts and then destroying accounts even quicker. Peter J's, they're trading anonymous. We can go to this stream, my friend. We can make it this stream. That's not a bad idea, to be honest. And some traders do seek help. I've read about such instances. Because trading can be really draining, especially when you're doing it full time. And it's a necessity at that point. Brian, do you think it will go below the lowest wick? Possibly, I don't know, mate. It's strong support, but the current rejection, there's a good chance it could fill it. Again, other than a weak bearish 15-minute, there still was no real solid confirmation there for me. 5-minute finally created a bit of a low here, breaking through support, but like I mentioned, on the 5-minute I would have much preferred to see bounce off this support, create a lower high, and then begin to close below to trust it. Well, it's not done that, so at the minute, so yeah, I'm more likely going to be waiting for maybe a potential option and buy it if it presents. Again, Adira, good day to you. Today's news, what do you think? Dollar gets weak or strong? Again, who knows, mate? There's that much of it to come, so I'm not going to try to predict. You got all the major news dropping at the same time, basically here on the US dollar, and then followed by, you know, if that wasn't enough, there's more to come now in 15 minutes after that. So I'm not going to predict, mate. No idea. But I do believe gold will just correct whatever move eventually and continue in line with the direction on the higher time frame. So that weekly interruption could come into play though. A weekly interruption candle, so high of this candle, 42.64, that's definitely within reach. But with the news about, I personally would not be setting orders, because if gold does what I wanted to do, then it could, I mean, I'd love for it to completely drop. I would love for gold to come back down to 4K. That's for accumulation purposes, not trading purposes. Trading purposes, I don't give a rat's. Goes up or down, I can do it either way. But I have so much conviction in gold and silver that I want them to both retrace so I can get in again at cheaper rates. I'm still buying silver the whole way up though. Still, I bought some over the weekend again, but buy it every weekend, irrespective of the price, because I do believe it's going way north of $63. All right, so we've got the M30 closure here, and we're closed. Obviously, a strong bearish engulfing candle, but at support. So again, not a lot I can do at the minute, guys. Lawsy, go to you. Overall, Laura. Got my eye on the weekly interruption. Yeah, fair enough. Just the only thing with it, again, the news, plus you're gonna need to have a wide stop loss. There's just no way around that. You gotta follow the entry, points of the rules. Is this potentially the lowest point for 4 hour? Cam auto emoji, I think we may buy now. Time that perfectly, I do. Fair enough. Not gonna knock it. Some people find it easy to just trade what they think will happen without looking at, confirmations and proper technicals or anything like that. Fundamentalists, a lot of them will trade based off that, but they'll still tie it in with technicals, so they'll look for levels where they would like price to get to in order to execute trades. All right, so we're bouncing here in gold. So at this stage, we likely want to be above the resistance, but let's just see here. Let's just see if there is any margin. So obviously we've got more than 11 minutes remaining in this current candle, so it could easily pop back up to the resistance. But if, for instance, this was to be the highest point, still enough margin. So we really need to see where this candle closes. But again, 11.5 minutes, it could do anything, and then go within it, maybe on a 5 minute. And if we've got a minor resistance and still a margin to the upside, perhaps we could get an entry, but it doesn't look likely because we are pumping at the minute. So therefore, likely looking for buy entry above the resistance or sell back at the resistance, and that they are the options likely moving forward. It's really starting to grow on me. Starting to really love it. YSL, Y, EDP. First initial day when I obviously used it wasn't that. There's a bit of a different, I don't know, it's a bit of a spicy sort of on my skin anyway. But I can now smell that freshness coming through, so maybe I don't know, maybe it needs to be open and sprayed, and a couple weeks later it is, in my opinion, smelling better. It's good. Peace Roberts, welcome to the A.C.T bandwagon. Thank you for subscribing, joining as a member. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for supporting the stream. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. But nonetheless, I appreciate it. Thank you, mate. Keelan, do you know if institutions stop trading at any point in the next few days and resume after New Year? Look, I would say yes, they probably wrap things up, but look, a lot of them will be run off algos as well, so I can't tell you to be 100%, you know, yes or no. What I can tell you is that JP Morgan, which were so heavily short on both gold and silver, and why I believe there was that crash in the futures market a couple weeks back on that Friday. I personally am of the belief so they get out of their naked short positions on paper contracts and shift bullish, because they've gone from a bearish bias, obviously in shorts on silver futures and gold futures, to now long, predominantly long. So that also fuels my belief as to why I think silver and gold will continue bullish, because you've now got some of the big banks finally shifting their focus to upside. Still a lot of short contracts, and it still is the most heavily shorted asset, that being silver, followed by platinum, gold, but they're shifting. The banks are starting to shift. Apparently the US banks are the first ones that are starting to shift. The Euro banks are the ones, from what I'm hearing, are the ones that are likely going to get left picking up the pieces and likely destroyed. So they could end up, you know, in some really sticky situations, because again, I do believe silver and gold will continue to create all-time highs moving forward. Silver for me is definitely 3 figures, and again, I'll mention it again, 4 figures is where we're heading on silver eventually. Dial Sup. It was last week trade. Last week trade. Is this last week trading? Technically the market's still open. They're only closed for, I think it's Christmas Day, Boxing Day and New Year's Day. But I won't be trading at all around that time. Usually think XAUUSD will buy. That's what I'm looking for. So I need to patiently wait. Now, all right, so if this is to be the highest point of the M15, let's just see what sort of margin do we have. Not a great deal. Would have been better if we had more. You've got about 30 pips. Stop loss is way wider than that. So based off the 15, definitely no entry. You really need more margin, to be honest. But the game plan would have been a little bit of 5-minute resistance. M15 closes still strong bullish, and as price breaks the minor 5-minute resistance, you look to target the resistance up ahead at 42.90, 42.91. But again, likely not going to have the margin for that at the minute. So it still looks like buys above the resistance, or if it does reject it, for potential downside still. J Block Mel Vision, good day to you. Did you catch the melt, bro? What, here? No, I was not in charts, mate. Whatever, 300 pips and US 30. Also went MI melted. Nice one, mate. I was not on charts, but it was overnight my time. I'm talking about all this. This is, yeah, just after midnight. Block Fell Vision on gold yesterday. Yep. Nah, don't trade MY, mate. It was way too late for me. MY opens at midnight my time. I do value sleep. Wish I had more of it, but I try. I think once you get to a certain age, it's just harder to stay asleep, to be honest. I remember my brothers used to always say it, wait till you get to my age, wait till you get to my age. So stop your bloody whinging, you old bastard. Now I understand exactly what they meant. Wake up, go slowly get out of bed so you don't do anything to your back. It takes a while to straighten the back. You're dying for obviously a visit to the toilet, holding on all night, so you have to get up in the middle of the night and not fun getting old, as they say. J block Vel Vision, lowest daytime in England when MI starts Asian session night. Yeah. So I don't mind what I'm seeing here. We have approaching with a bit of volume. So if we can pop above the resistance, close above it next M15, that's going to close the 1 hour candle back with a long lower wick, back bullish above the resistance here. Also going to close the M30 above the resistance. So we'll have plenty of confluences to look for a potential buy at session open. But that is now what I'm going to need to wait for. Any viewers here from Melbourne? Love to have a little maybe meet greet sometime. Peter, nice one, mate. North, east, west, south, southeast. No, Michael from the TikTok stream is as well, but I know he mentioned he was in Thailand at the moment. Rick, if you're watching. Just kidding. Very jealous, mate. Hope you're enjoying it. East? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of a distance from where I am, but it's not too bad. Alright, so we're not worried about this candle because for me there's no entry. We just want the following candle now to close at the resistance, close above it. Is this a good buy entry? Now, can you explain what you're waiting for till you buy? I've mentioned it already. Closure above the resistance here. To me now, we're just pretty much consolidating. So we need to be at the support, lower down, of that 42.70, 71, 73 sort of region for a potential buy lower down, or above the resistance. Not getting involved just here, there is no margin to the upside. Sunboss Gold. golden lens. How do you draw your line, sir? Is it from wick to the candle body? Pretty much, yes. So I start in the 4 hour. I did a video recently, 2 weeks ago on YouTube. So you're obviously asking on YouTube. So just at some point, click on my channel and it should be pinned to the top where it has recent posts, recent uploads or whatever, recent videos. It'll be there. Have a watch of that. That'll explain it all for you. I go through in full detail how I come about marking my zones and why I do it in that way. So you best have a watch of that. We'll check it out. Thanks, sir. All good, mate. So who's currently got positions open here on anything? Let me know, guys, whether it be gold or a currency pair. Oh, looks like NASDAQ has pulled back just by looking at the number. Yeah, wow. NASDAQ. Is this the high? Is this the top? Are things about to come crashing down? Again, I told you guys what I believe about that yesterday. Look, it could just consolidate for a while, really. Again, I just don't feel that Trump wants to be the one that is remembered as crashing the market. So I believe he's still going to pump money into the markets, keep people happy, make sure that equities still continue bullish, but it is very, very overpriced. So again, you got to kind of sit in the fence here. I'm not going to predict, because I reckon it's due for a crash. Doesn't mean it has to crash. All the signs are that it will. I mean, it's basically held up by the high-end tech stocks, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, all those, obviously those companies. So yeah, I believe it's primed to dump. Oops. Person asked about how I mark up my zones. Well, I'm pretty much showing you just now, so pay a bit of attention. That will be support. That's resistance. Now onto the 15. What levels have we got here? All right. Can it be adjusted first of all? Yeah, I'd probably now include a low. Is a bullish candle. Won't worry about it once the upside were far off it. It'd be marking minor resistance at this point. Structure would have flipped by that point back bullish on the minor time frame. So potential buys above it, but I would prefer it to tap into the 4 hour support, because at that point I'd be comfortable that it's reached a level of liquidity, bounced off it, forming some structure back at that after bouncing off 4 hour support, breaking and closing above a resistance form the way down, then traffic to the left. That will be your likely entry. All right, so just over 10 minutes until session open, and gold is not really doing much of anything at the minute. Or I'm with FXCM, still no trading for me. Oh, as you mentioned from last week, mate. Yeah, look, you're gonna have to obviously. Can you even access your funds? You know, Mag 7, yeah. No position open, fair enough. Yep, Magnificent 7. Futures train, short GC. Yeah, fair enough. I'm assuming it looks the same. I've got a delayed feed on GC because I don't have TradingView Pro. But yeah, it just looks pretty much the same as spot. All they say you can, but who knows? Oh, Yeah, I'd be trying really hard to get cash out. To be honest, I would have thought FXM are pretty safe as a broker. Again, if the big dominoes start to fall, it's just going to be more and more difficult, especially here in Oz, for us retail traders to access accounts, to open accounts, to trade with leverage. I believe that's where it's going to. I'm pretty sure that's my honest opinion. That's where it's potentially heading. Just another way of measuring controlling. Because again, IC markets also have a class action pending. And to me, they've done nothing at all, ever wrong. Had one issue once when a terminal froze and they wouldn't honor a win. They honored a win, but not the level where I wanted to exit the trade, sorry. Because the terminal froze, and when it unfroze, it closed me out at the level it froze that, which was only like 6 pips profit as opposed to about literally 100 pips at the time. That's the only one bad issue, one issue I've ever had with them. Otherwise, I've never had any bad experiences. Just under 8 minutes, guys. All they were good, but things have been getting weird. It's not good to hear, mate. Yeah, I mentioned to my members yesterday, I'm negotiating with a very reputable broker. I actually do have an account with. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the space, but that obviously won't be ready until next year if it does eventuate. And it does include, they do challenges. They do it a bit differently. They have the normal challenges, but they have something, a point of difference, which I really like, to be honest. But again, I'm not going to announce anything until I'm certain that it's not bullshit. Last thing I want to do is pump a product to you guys and, you know, they just run away for cash. So it is a reputable broker. And as far as I can work out, it seems like I think it's a really good idea what they've got going. PDF for broker accounts. I have 3. I have 3, but I really only use IC markets, to be honest. Because the spreads are the best. Alright guys, just over 5 minutes until session open. Is gold going to pop above the resistance? Or are we going to remain below it? We just need to wait and see for the time being. Let's quickly have a look at different time frames again. Let's look at the 1 hour. Potentially again showing signs of maybe downside liquidity before it heads up. 4 hours creating that low wick again. Let's quickly remove the drawings. Super RC. Are you in the trade already or after the break? No, I'm not currently in a trade. Want it to be above the resistance. Rahim GB, welcome to you. Let's have a look. How was the news for the pound? How'd that come out? Okay, came out less than the actual. Average earnings above forecast, but less than previous. So let's see, what is the pound? How's the pound reacted? Look at GU, and that's pushed bullish. Assuming GJ has as well. Tricky, very tricky price actions. It's pushed bullish, it's rejected, it's now pushing bullish again. That's the thing with the news. That's why I do not trade it. But if you have a solid plan that's proven and you've back tested it, so on and so forth, then I can understand why someone would. I don't have that data. Plus, I know for a fact that all the high impact news events are past my bedtime, so I'm not going to purposely wait up, try flip an account, because I could also destroy an account just as quickly. Also, TikTok, don't forget at some point to jump across the YouTube channel. Exact same profile name. You're going to find a lot of content on the YouTube channel. Obviously videos, full length videos. Plus, who knows, because when I take the break and start back again, it's happened to me before. I could all of a sudden just get ban after ban after ban and lose the account. So it's in your best interest to, you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, just in case I, you know, come the turn of the new year and can't find me. Maybe I've got a ban pretty quickly. So when you get a chance, not saying you have to do it right now, but just look it up. Exact same profile name. Shidez, thank you for sharing it live. Lachlan, g'day to you. Welcome. Abraham, what's the resistance level on gold? So the level, this blue level is, the bottom of it is 4290.97 to be exact. Could now shift that really to this candle body, but I'll just leave it where it was. The high of it is 4292.35. So basically I want price to be above 4292.35. And at this rate, I would prefer a closure. Perfect, no worries, mate. Peter, yeah, you're gonna need your digital ID set up by then. With TikTok, no way I'm setting up any digital ID so the government can, and they already know everything about everyone, but it's an easier way for them to control everything. Alright, just under a minute, guys. We are still below the resistance here, so it's a matter of waiting at the minute patiently. Better bank accounts, trading accounts, I think it's just a matter of time before it screws. Yep, I agree. Why I don't trust banks. Yes, you need some money. Obviously got bills and things to pay. Everything's done online these days. But there's no way I like to keep everything in cash and not all in a bank or one particular bank. And Alright, session open in 10, guys, so we are below the resistance. So let's look at the 1 hour candle here, closing weak bearish, but we're kind of consolidating above the support here. To me, there is still no confirmation. We are just literally in consolidation on the 30-minute time frame. Absolutely no clear direction. 15 is just bouncing from within a pretty much just a minor range at the minute. There's no margin within it. And again, it could just do this until news, guys. Would not surprise me. But again, have the plan. If it presents, you can look to take your entry. If it doesn't, try to be strict with it. Try to, you know, follow the plan as much as you can. Be disciplined in your hands if you have to, and just wait. Ibrahim, is it compulsory what to subscribe to YouTube channel? It's up to you, but like I said, it's probably better you get the full screen, so you get to see the price scale and all. You get to see the little text I have above the zones or below a zone. Oh, digital ID. Sorry, mate. I don't think so. Good luck trying to get it out of me. Good luck. Again, they're trying to make it compulsory to prove your ID so you can have access to social media and all that crap. There'll be ways around it. Brandon, how do you feel about NASDAQ turning 24/7? Turning 24/7? You're telling me it's going to be traded like Bitcoin? Is that so? I did not know of that. Got to add money to the markets. That's all it's going to do. To be honest, that's crazy. That's really crazy. 24/7. Whose bright idea was that? The weekends to me is there's going to be lack of liquidity. You're going to get some silly moves. A lot of times going to consolidate, and you're going to see it make a silly move. People are going to get wrecked. I don't understand why they would, to be honest. Super RC. Generally speaking, Monday, Thursday, Friday, if I have time, but for the most part, I haven't had time of late. But this is the final week of the streams for the year, of live streams. Trade Delicious, good day to you. And again, I'm assuming you're in the UK. Could be a different story than Oz. We're the guinea pigs here in Oz, and then works well, you guys follow. They're a small enough population to easily control. Trade Delicious trading gold today as well. This rate not looking likely, but we'll see. We'll see how this 15-minute closes, if we can close above the resistance. Ibrahim, yes, I live in the UK, but now I'm trying to set up a Dubai because there are huge taxes in the UK. Yeah, look, I can understand why it's attractive. It's an attractive proposition for people to want to move to a country like that. Personally, I've got obviously interest over in Thailand, so I'd rather be there and just accept that you have to pay some tax. But there are ways around that. Pretty sure Singapore is tax-free for trading, so you could open bank accounts in Singapore. Could be quite easy to get a visa there, I would assume. Yeah, there's things I've been thinking about, but there's plenty of time for that. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, just to escape the rat race that is the communist society or party, Communist Labour Party in Australia. And the fact that we do live under a dictatorship here, it's not, you know, obviously it's not formal. It's not a formal dictatorship, but it is, honestly. I will never admit it, but it is. So full dictatorship. Yeah, business here in UK, and I've been paying some crazy VAT until, yeah, mate. We know all about it. Know all about the same shit here. I mean, my brother doesn't sleep at night because of it. Inflation as well. Yep, again, same. Exact same here. It's by design, mate. These Western countries, all by design. It's a way of controlling. Keep people in check. Things got a little bit too rosy, so now cracking down it. I want to keep everyone in line, but good luck trying to keep me in line. That's all I can say. It ain't gonna happen. But I can't believe how much taxes we pay here. And it is absolutely criminal. It is. It's really criminal. You work hard for your money. So what you do is you work hard for the government, essentially. That's what you're doing. We're all government workers. But we just don't get all the benefits that the official ones get. My gosh, gold rejecting again. Really isn't shit all I can do at the minute. It's just really consolidating. There is nothing at all I can do, so we just need to patiently wait a little bit longer. Ibrahim, my YouTube channel is the exact same profile name, mate. So just look up the same. I'm streaming live on YouTube at the minute as well. Chest day, Gabe. Prefer shoulders day, my friend. Do you mind checking your DMs? Yeah, I'll check it later. Ibrahim, do you pay taxes on your trade? You do pay taxes, of course. There are ways to minimize that, but you're still paying stupid amounts. So obviously, as a company, my trading, paying myself a wage, so on and so forth, claiming things such as lot sizes, so on and so forth, the expenses. Yeah, but you definitely have to pay taxes. Chest day, Gabe. Okay, thank you. Shoulders are not bad either. No problem, my friend. Ibrahim, dividend. Again, I'm employee of my own business. Peter, not a problem, mate. Enjoy those tacos. Enjoy it, my friend. There's one thing I'm waiting for him to do, and I'm sure it's going to happen, but I'm not paying taxes on my physical metals. I'm confused on the support and resistance because there are many. I don't know which one to choose. Well, again, I would suggest, as I mentioned to the person on YouTube, to have a watch of the video I uploaded on YouTube about 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure I uploaded on TikTok as well. And that explains how I go about marking zones and why I choose certain levels. So to me, it's pretty obvious the current levels as to where we should be marking some support and resistance. So that would definitely help you. I'm not sure how low down it is. I do post videos pretty much daily on TikTok. Not always trend, well, for the most part, they're not trend related these days. They're fragrance reviews. Again, big fan of fragrances, collecting fragrances. But again, jump over to YouTube channel at some point. You'll find quite a lot of content there. You're new to trading. Nice one, mate. Well, it's always got to start somewhere, so hopefully you find value in what I do. Pity you didn't join the streams earlier in the year though, because the streams are ending for the year. I was even considering this being the last one, to be honest, guys, because I had an offer tomorrow evening. But I will likely be on tomorrow. If not, Thursday will be the final stream. So I will have at least one more stream in me for the year. Sean, hey Justin, what are your thoughts on inducements and manipulation, liquidity, engineering, and gold? Inducements, manipulation, liquidity, engineering? Is in market makers and that type of thing? That's what you're talking about. My thoughts are, well, it's heavily manipulated. Obviously, the big bullion banks are the ones that shift the markets, and I spoke about that quite often. I spoke about earlier today how I believe one of the major banks, one of the major players, have now shifted their focus from short positions to long positions on both gold and silver. So off the back of that, I believe we might see the focus shift once again bullish, and it did. You know, last week it obviously shifted extremely bullish, so it could have been off the back of that, because this is recent. This is over the past week or so. Prior to that, I'm of the belief that a lot of the major bullion banks, especially in the US, were heavily short on gold and silver, extremely short on silver, and continued, because if you have a look at things, a lot of time price will get dumped during the MI session, or pump during the Asian session. It will accumulate during the London session, sometimes move slightly in line with the Asian trend, and then just NY would tend to pop up initially and then dump, and a big dump. And I believe that is due to manipulation, due to some of the bullion banks trying to cover their short positions. And I think it's rampant when it comes to gold and silver. Obviously, Bitcoin's another one. And I think it's always going to remain that way. But once you start to get more of the major banks shifting their focus from short positions to long positions, then I think it's going to just freely run. And it's starting to do that. You're starting to see gold just do its own thing. Starting to see silver. Obviously, it's pumped to all-time highs. Before it was always been suppressed. It's been suppressed for 40 plus years. And it's finally broken the previous all-time high. Just now. Like literally the last few weeks. Look at it. It's now freely running, and the banks are shifting their focus, some of the banks anyway, to the upside. Ibrahim, do you trade in Asian and London session as well as... And no, I don't trade all three sessions, mate. I'm not a slave to the charts. Pretty much this is the only session I trade. I do look into pre and Y with my team in most nights of a week, but I personally don't really trade it. Asian session, I rarely look at the charts these days because I like to do other things. I like to have a life. But there are times where I will trade the Asian session. So I like to go to the gym. I like to do a few other things as well. John, everyone in the dog believe gold is going up, but they decide the timing. Look at the spoke just below. The upside down, head and shoulders, take 80 pips up, only to bring back down. How's that South Africa? How's it from South Africa? Oh, nice one, mate. Welcome from Melbourne. Yeah, I think that you're right. It happens. It happens. But again, I believe now gold and silver do their own thing at the minute. So irrespective of news events and things like that, I think it's now time. People and retail traders are starting to get involved. I'm talking about not trading the paper asset. I'm talking about accumulating physical. Starting to realize the only real money in the world is gold and silver. It's the only real, it's God's money. It's from the earth. It's tangible. It's cash anywhere around the world. You can cash it in. It's borderless. Yeah. So it does definitely get manipulated, but I do believe they will continue. I always say it's good to have contrarian perspective of things, but when it comes to gold and silver, I think it's been suppressed for that long. It's just, again, it's going to do its own thing now, and I'm of such a strong belief it's going to continue bullish. It's going to have pullbacks, of course, but all in all, it's just going to end up being higher and higher than what it is at the minute. So another thing with, for instance, silver, it's inelastic. So irrespective of the price, it will always be bought. It will always, no matter what, there will be corporations, there'll be, you know, manufacturers, there'll be sovereign nations. They'll always buy it because they need it. It's a necessity. It's in every single aspect of what we use in our daily life. It's on in our phones. It's on the computer I'm staring at just now, the screen. Cars, solar, weaponry, all that stuff. It's a necessity. So irrespective of the price, it's going to be bought. So it's just going to, what's that going to do? It's just going to shift it higher and higher. Supply and demand, law of supply and demand as well. Gold, not doing anything. Joan, will price go back up? Possibly, mate, possibly. It's just consolidating at the moment. There's nothing at the minute. Bryony looking for buys and sellers. At the minute, there's nothing. It needs to be either at the support lower down or above the resistance, or at least back at the resistance, rejecting it. John, how can you tell? There is no way. You just need to wait for your confirmation at levels where you want to get involved. So I don't predict, I react to what I see happening. So I know roughly where I want to get involved in a trade. I need to patiently wait for price to get to that level. Once price gets to that level, I have rules that I will follow in order to, you know, validate whether I've got an opportunity to enter the market or not. Joan, my man is skilled. It's just, to be honest, it's comes with time on the charts, mate. That's what it's all about, guys. Knowing that it's not always going to be, it's not always the right time to be involved. Knowing where you want to get involved. Patiently just waiting for price to get to that level. I spoke to my members about that yesterday on the educational call. The importance of doing that. So we spoke about psychology and trading, emotions in trading. Spoke about how we need to wait for price to go to a certain level and just react according to what presents. If it does give us a valid entry, we can react. If not, it's just not our trade. And if in between, how else we could potentially get involved. And if none of them present, it's just not our trade and you need to accept it. All coming down. See, well, I'm not going to get an entry because it's almost time for me to make some dinner. So again, it's about patience today. There is so much news to come. I think this week's going to be a lot of that, to be honest. But nonetheless, I do appreciate all the support. Thank you to the new YouTube member as well, yet again. Peace Roberts, I do appreciate it. To everyone else who have joined today's stream, thank you very much. Everyone who's participated, appreciate it. Should be on tomorrow. If not, I definitely will be on one more time before I stop the streams for you, and that will be likely, well, will be definitely Thursday if I'm not on tomorrow. But I likely will be on. But again, I've had an offer which I may take up, so we'll see. But yeah, do trade safe, guys. Big day of news to come. Don't forget, you got massive news, even still for the pound and euro. But not only that, look at that, all that red fall news, guys. So do be very careful of that. To my team, I will jump on a call with you guys a little later on. We can just have a bit of a chat. Don't really anticipate trading, to be honest, though. But we'll jump on and have a chat nonetheless. YouTube, TikTok, once again, thank you for the support. Make sure to follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you want to have a chat, you want to say g'day about, or just ask me questions about anything, or just say g'day, feel free to send me a message. I always reply to everyone who sends me a DM. Take care, guys. Trade safe. Don't do anything stupid. Until next time, peace, my friends. Bye, guys.